What is going on, everybody? We are back with some sort of video. It's kind of sports. It's not the official live sports, but we have the NFL draft 1 week away. Some sports, it's been over 30 days without sports. Crazy times in the world. Hopefully you guys are quarantining, staying safe, and social distancing. I just want to give a shout out to the front line workers. Big shout out to you guys. You guys are the real heroes during this pandemic, and hopefully we can get some sports back in the summer. I just don't see huge events happening. I don't see many people in the stands this summer. I think the games could go on with teams being tested and just playing with no crowds. So hopefully that does happen maybe in June or July. We're all praying for that, but yeah, I thought I released this NFL draft video. I haven't been watching any live sports, so obviously just reruns and stuff like that, but I watched a lot of tape on these guys. I've been putting out draft profiles on Twitter and Instagram. Hopefully you guys have been following that. Yeah, not much to watch. Obviously binging the Netflix and YouTube streams, but yeah, definitely a very interesting draft we have here. I'm going to give you guys some draft position plays and a couple other things that I like. But let's start a breakdown and go over how this draft is going to look this year. April 23rd to the 25th, so next Thursday. It's all going to be virtual from home. Roger Goodell will be announcing the first round picks from his basement, believe it or not. No war room for any teams. There won't be 10 people in a room like usual, or 15 people, however the amount is, with tons of phones. There's going to be a separate line for trades that I'm hearing, and coaches and GMs are going to be stuck in their rooms, probably basements or home offices. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out. I hope they still have the detailed analysts providing, breaking down the players and going over the picks. I'm pretty sure they still will have that. It's obviously going to be a lot different. I'm so excited to see how that goes. There's always trades in these drafts, so that's what makes it tough to bet on. You don't really personally know what the team's gonna pick, but I did a lot of research on what teams need and primary positions that teams need to draft. So that's how I am going on my picks here. Like I said, I went over a lot of mock drafts. I went over a lot of tape on guys, read a lot of articles on what teams need primarily. So I'll go over all that with you guys, and go over my favorite plays. But let's go over some trades that could happen. I do think Detroit is going to attempt to move down. Are they going to pull it off? Not too sure. Are they going to find that buyer that really wants that quarterback? I don't know. I think Dolphins, Chargers, and Panthers really want, I think, a quarterback. I think they may move up, attempt to move up if the price is right with Detroit, even maybe Washington if they want to, move off Young, or maybe in the Giants at 4. So look for a lot of talks. And I do think that Detroit could move out of the 3 and still get who they want at 5 or 6. So that's why I do think it makes sense for Detroit, but do we have a buyer is the question. I also maybe take a look at Denver moving out of the 15 and moving up just to get their wide receiver to pair with Sutton. I do think there's 3 really good wide receivers in the top 15 this season. So I do think Denver may want to, get their number 2 guy to pair up with Sutton. Take a look at that. Maybe Vegas making some moves as well. Las Vegas moving to the new city. They want to establish maybe a quarterback or a top playmaker. So look for Vegas to maybe move around as well. Baltimore maybe late as well. They like to play around and move. They could even maybe move out of the first round if they don't get their guy. So take a look at Baltimore. Maybe moving up a bit if that linebacker's there, like Kenneth Murray or Queen. or moving out if they know none of their guys are out, and they have 2 draft picks in the second, right? So maybe they can add it to 3. You never know. So I think may happen with trades. There's obviously going to be tons of trades. It's obviously hard to predict them, but those are 3 or 4 that I really like that I can see happening. Let's start with the draft positions, guys. Draft position. We're going to start off with Kayvon Kinlaw from South Carolina, defensive lineman. Great player. Watch a lot of film on this guy. Very strong. Can get to the quarterback in the middle of that pack there. I do think he's the second best defensive lineman in this draft. He is positioned now at 13.5. I do like the over 13.5. I'll tell you why. And it's mainly for team needs. Like I said, the best. He is the second best player in defensive lineman in this draft. I think Derek Brown will go to Carolina at some point. If Carolina decides to go for a quarterback, I can see Brown going to the Jags at 9. They did lose Calais Campbell to my boys Ravens. Great pickup by you guys, by the way. But I do see Kinlaw falling because of that. And I'll tell you why here. Obviously, we know the quarterbacks. There's going to be about 3 or 4 quarterbacks that go in the top 10. Okay? And then you're going to see offensive linemen and wide receivers go off the board as primary needs. So offensive linemen, guys, there's about 3 or 4 that are going to go in the top 10, and 4, I think, in the top 15. So there's a lot of positions there. Wide receivers, I think 3 are going to go in the top 15. We can take a look at it now. If you go start with Cleveland at 10, I do think they're going to take an offensive lineman, best available. If you look Jets at 11, I think they will be targeting a wide receiver or an O-line if the O-line falls to them. Vegas at 12, like I said, I think they can move up, but I think they'll be targeting a wide receiver or cornerback. That's their top priorities. So look for that to happen. And San Francisco definitely doesn't need a defensive lineman. It's probably one of their top strengths. So look at the cornerback position for San Francisco, or again wide receiver, and I think they land one of those top wide receivers. So I can see Kinlaw going Atlanta at 16, Jags at their second pick. I think he'll fall just because of the draft positions. Hopefully that does pan out. Next one here, K'Lavon Chaisson, edge, outside linebacker from the LSU Champs. Great tape on this guy too. Very athletic, great size as well, and he can get to the quarterback, which everybody wants, right? Just inconsistent at times. A lot of write-ups I read that he was inconsistent at times, besides all his good attributes. And again, it's going to be going down to the Kinlaw pick. I don't think a team needs what he brings in those positions. I think the team needs are higher at other positions. So that's why I'm going to take over 16.5. I think he can land as early as the Cowboys. A lot of mock drafts have him outside of the 16th pick. I did see one at 12, but I like Chaisson to go later, anywhere from 17 to 30 in that range there. I don't think he'll last to 30, to be honest, but late 20s, it is possible that he does land there. So take a look at the over 16.5 for him. Next one, Isaiah Simmons, linebacker out of Clemson. I'm taking the under 6.5. I think he's the best defensive lineman in this draft. I watched so much tape on this guy. It was so fun watching tape on him. This guy can do it all. Perfect for the NFL, the new NFL. He is all over the place. Very athletic, of course. Some people knock him. Does he have a position? You see him all over in Clemson. He played everywhere for Clemson. He played high safety at times for Clemson. You see him down in the box. He can cover tight end. So I think he'll be obviously a linebacker in the NFL. And I do see him maybe going to the Giants at 4. That's where he is predicted. I can see Detroit taking him as well because he will be the best talented player on the board at 3. But does Detroit think they need the cornerback more? That's the question, losing Slay. So That's going to be a big question there. But I do think he lands in the top 6 there. So take a look at Simmons under 6.5. Next one here, offensive line. We talked about the offensive line earlier. It is impressive, the offensive line this year, guys. Especially for the guys, like I said, they're going to go in the top 15. I think Mekhi Becton here, biggest guy, he's a 6'7", 364, great size, his strength is great, and he moves well for his size, watching his tape. He did play for Louisville. But like I said, guys, it's very deep, the offensive line. I think offensive line can come off the board at 4 to the Giants. I think they may go with Thomas or Willis, though. They are ranked higher. PFF, who I do get some information from, and I do follow them. I do think they have a great articles and do break down the draft well. I don't really agree with them here, ranking Becton out of the top 30 and ranking him 5th. Behind Josh Jones, who I've ranked behind Becton in the 5th spot. And, you know, later in the first round, Josh Jones being drafted. But I just think the 8.5 is a little too high. He is a little raw. His awareness is not as good as the others. So I think he's more of a risk. So I don't think he'll land in the top 10. I think he can go to 10 maybe at Cleveland. If not, maybe landing to the Jets or Tampa Bay. So take a look at that Becton over 8.5. I'll leave you guys with a couple others here, a couple others that I liked. They're more fun props. I'm going to start here with Tua. Where is Tua going to land? I think Dolphins will draft him. I like the price 115 just because they are the favorite to draft him, and they've been eyeing him for a while now. They really like Tua. I do see them maybe possibly trading up to the 2nd or 3rd spot to grab him for sure. So Chargers or Vegas or Carolina doesn't come in and grab him. So take a look at that. And I'll leave you guys with a crazy, high plus 1,300, great value pick here. Don't go too crazy on it, but it's a first 3 picks exact order. So Burrow is going to Cincinnati. We know that. Chase Young should go to Washington. If Washington does trade out of the 2nd spot, it's because they got a crazy deal and they realize they can still get maybe possibly Young, maybe Simmons. So I think Young will still go to Washington. I don't think they're going to pass up his talent. He's unbelievable. And then I'll go to Simmons here at plus 1,300. You're getting that. So Burrow, Young, and Simmons. Detroit landing Simmons, best player in the best defensive player in the draft, and you're getting that plus 1,300. So great value there. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video here. Please like the video and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. I did post an MLB video a couple weeks ago. MLB will be back hopefully May or June. Hopefully that Arizona League pans out and they play there. But take a look at that video if you haven't. It was posted a couple weeks ago. Yeah, hopefully sports come back soon, guys. Keep your social distancing. Keep following the rules out there so all this can come back. Hopefully everyone is back to work or going to get back to work shortly. And hopefully, the sports do come back soon. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits and enjoy the draft next Thursday.